Welcome to another episode of the podcast with Tigmatic. And it is your boy with my lovely co-host, the real Shay Rosa. Shay, how you feeling today?
I am wonderful. We have a wonderful guest in the building, a pillar of the
Hey,
community.
introduce your guest.
This is Supreme Prem Richardson, the unofficial mayor of Boston, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome to the pod, Supreme. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys inviting me and having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for being here this evening.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm doing good, doing well. I'm here another year.
I know, right?
Happy birthday. I was informed that it was your birthday today, so happy birthday.
No, it's tomorrow, actually.
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Well, even better.
Yeah.
What a way to start the pot. Your birthday with being on the pot with us.
Hey, there it is. There it is.
Exclusive early birthday. Hey.
Yes, and I wish you many more. So go ahead and take the reins, Shay.
I wanted to welcome you to the show. We have a personal history, but we're not going to get into that. I just wanted to talk about you as a pillar of the community and what you do here in Boston, Massachusetts. Tell us a little bit about your humble beginnings. Tell us about, life in Boston in the 70s and 80s. Bring us back to that time.
Ooh.
Well, wait, because you jumping ahead of the gun and the show just started.
Oh, no.
Ask him the first question. Tell the people a bit about who Supreme is.
Tell us who you are.
Yeah, tell us who you are first and what it is you do, and then follow up question that Shay just gave.
I want to know about you. Tell me a little bit about you.
As if you don't know. Yeah, I'm just an agent of change. One of the first agents of change that came on the scene. My humble beginnings. Oh, geez, there's so many of them. It's hard to say which one would be relevant to speak about because most of it is based off of the people that I encountered that helped me help myself. Remain on a track that is I think is more beneficial for me, but a lot of people say benefits them because of my ability to create the opportunities, create the change, and so forth, so on. But I the real firestorm started when I got involved with the NAACP. And I became the third vice president. Well, first I started as community coordination. I was doing so much as community coordination. I was asked to become a vice president, and I didn't want to be first or second. I wanted to be third because first or second usually ends up in more work than a little bit. Third, you just stand by. So I was
right.
I was able to utilize that time of standby to create, different opportunities for the community, different services that, were needed in the community. One of the things that we got to understand is that we're behind in the education, and there's no exception to the ignorance that was caused or affects us. Or
I agree.
We still have to, live everyday life and move through everything and suffer the consequences of such.
Right.
I did get to create a few programs and get to see inside the system, being with the NAACP, and what I got to see, it kind of, did not sit well with me in a way, and I felt like, I can't walk away, and I can't, stay in. It's not the organization, it's the people, and that wasn't working for me because I rather for the truth to be laid out and I rather teach the truth versus teach you some of the truth to get you to go along and follow what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Right. So that was an eye opener. It was an eye opener being thrown and thrust into that position where you could see a little bit more being standing back instead of in the forefront.
Right. you know, you're down there, you're getting these orders, you're hearing about these things, but to absolutely be up there and see when they form, you know, when they create that formation or begin the storm. One of the things was the three strike bill when it was trying to come through Massachusetts is one of the first things that, well, not the first thing, but one of the political things that I did attack. And I took the majority whip on that bill, Senator Tarr, uh, who is a Republican, and took him out of his office on a tour of various organizations, as well as Mattapan, Dorchester, and Roxbury. Whereas that three strikes bill law would have affected those areas very, very much so.
Right.
And the sad part about all of this, the work that I do, I also got to see people who look at me, look like me, look at me, and really shun what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And
From the
it's crazy
side.
because I'm here trying to do something that's either going to benefit you, your son, or your granddaughter, or so forth
For
down the line.
generations to come. Right,
Right.
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 So
Change.
you know, and I got to again. We got the bill to absolutely, you know, not come here to Boston. You know, it got watered down so much. Senator Tarr got affected by the tour, so me and him talking stuff is still today, and he's still a senator, still today.
Right. Right.
which drives me crazy because no one steps up to these posts, but we have so much to complain about, and I have reasons why I don't step up to those posts, and those reasons is because, you know, I really don't believe in the system they're asking me to be voted in to work for. You
Mm.
know, the system that it's built on oppression. You know,
Right.
it's not what we're talking about equal and putting together. Big shout outs to Mon and all of the work that they did to get us where we are, but it's up to us to take it the rest of the way.
Right.
And this is a new world now. New generations are here, and
Right.
we got to look at something different. So we might be, you know, looking into the, you know, changing things, you know. But from there, I ended up doing like Fathers Fathers in Need. It's an organization that speaks up for fathers' rights.
Yeah, so
We're in
let's talk about that a bit. Break that down a bit to the people. How was that started? How was that started? And what is the synopsis behind that? Like, break that down a bit.
well, I myself was my last child. I've never, out of all my kids, I've never been through, you know, this child support, courts, custody. Never had to do it. But my last child, I ended up unfortunately in that battle. And again, I'm hearing everybody telling me how, you know, I'm going to get chewed up because the courts are always for the woman. This is a woman's state. This is Massachusetts and all of this other stuff, psyching me up to say, wow, I'm going to lose altogether. But I didn't let that get in my way. And me, myself, I come from a background of a lot of research. You research stuff, you look into stuff. Plus, I'm a paralegal. Putting all my skills together, I came up with what's called a parenting plan that a lot of people hear about today that don't even realize that I'm the originator of the parenting plan. And basically,
Thank
what I was doing.
you.
Say again.
Thank you. This
You're
means
welcome. You know, a lot of people don't know it, and I don't look for credit for it because it was something I did that I was looking for to benefit fathers, but it actually benefits fathers and mothers, actually the family. And it's, to me, it's the actual contract that, you know, lays the brickwork in the whole blueprint of how you should be interacting with your newborn, your child, your seed that you got to raise to be a positive role model in society. And
Absolutely.
you know, I didn't exactly expect the judge to actually to take it like it is. And in the statement he wrote, he never saw a father actually stand up for just their child. Most times in his court, he's hearing about them argue about the relationship. but my directive was my son.
As it should.
He took that into account, and he accepted the parenting plan, with
Right.
which is no child support. It's basically me making sure I support my child, and if such should have to come up, there's a clause in there for that, and me myself, I draft up contracts. So that's the other part too, is I understand contractual writing and language and stuff like that. So it's basically a contract between you and in a broken relationship, you
Right.
know. And I didn't call it the plan. The judge called it the plan. I just called it, my contract. I lay up
Right.
my contract. This is what I want to work on, and it took on like a firestorm. A lot of people did not know. I am the originator of the parenting plan, and and now it's taken off across the web, which led me into FIN, Fathers in Need. Um, Father organizations began to ask me to come speak to the fathers who were going through, court custody battles and a lot of other stuff, and in that, it's fine going around talking to people, doing these interviews and, having these conversations, but what's after? How do we support that individual
Yeah,
who,
it's a lot of conversation going on, but not too much change. So I get that.
right,
Right.
so one of the brothers stepped up. Shout outs to Charles B. Green, the third, CB3. Big shout out to him because he stepped up to me and he was like, he wanted to open this organization that, kind of gets their hands in. It's cool. We can get these certificates and all this other stuff, but what are we really doing to really become fathers that we need to become? And
Right.
how do we do that? Because everybody's got their own opinions, but how do we do that? And is it in a book, or do we do it? How do we do it? So really, what we did was we came up with Fathers in Need, and eventually the six of us was a think tank process of what's going on with fathers, and we looked at a lot of the issues that fathers go through and began to add our voice to it. This, in turn, created other fathers organizations reaching out to me, such as out of Chicago. Um, um, oh God, Chicago, and it'll come to me. I swear I have an old moment. Don't mind me. But
Take time, bro.
the Chicago sticks out to me the most is because they did a marketing scape on the whole thing, called it Child Support Hustle, which went against the DOR in Chicago, which changed a number of the policies around child support, and fathers getting their licenses taken, um, all that good stuff. And out of that, I learned a lot of information too. That not only that we they can use in Chicago, but we can use universally. But none of this information and none of this knowledge is disseminated to the fathers for them to know that they have these rights, whether you're in
Yeah,
wedlock or not.
yeah.
Right.
You know,
That's
because there,
And they
there,
should
there
know. They
you,
should
you
know.
you have a little bit more control when you're in wedlock, but when you're out of wedlock, you lose a little bit. And a lot of fathers don't know that part neither.
Mm.
right. I mean, there's service. There should be services for fathers as well as mothers. I feel the services shouldn't be lack on either end.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And sometimes we look at the family holistic. We
Mm.
don't look at just the father himself, because even though the father is to be the foundation, we don't have him stable, then his family's not going to be stable.
Absolutely. The father is definitely the most important figure to create the nuclear family to begin with. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. You know,
I'm a firm believer of that. I'm a firm
and,
believer.
and if the mother, the wisdom body, is standing on unstable foundation, how could she, wisdom the kids, or feed the seeds correctly? How could the seeds actually grow properly?
They can't. We need
You
all. We
feel
need
me?
all
So
three.
it,
You need everybody, right?
We need
yeah,
all of
so
that together to be successful.
you got to do a holistic thing, no matter what it is. So we don't like discriminate, and we work with we work with the holistic of the father, but we want to make sure we work with the family as well, as what we're saying, because that's the purpose of his role.
Right, right.
With that, we've been doing groups. Oh boy, it's going up on 7 years now. The organization's been working with different probate issues, and we've helped a lot of fathers get back in the lives of their kids. We've created a situation where fathers, are now feel, and the actual, the fractured relationship is more, how do you say, communicating, without the issue, and more focused on the child's,
Creating a bridge.
growth and
Yeah,
development. Correct.
creating a bridge of communication. Yeah.
You're right.
That's
So,
wonderful. That's beautiful. We need that. Definitely have needed that for quite some time within the
so,
unit.
so with
What do you think? What do you think in your city is lacking to make this connection, to make this bridge connect in full? What do you think that's lacking at the moment?
lack of knowledge, what you don't know, you fear. You know what
That's
I'm
a
saying?
fact.
Most people stay away from fear, right? So what do
Absolutely.
you think
People,
when
and
people say when
sometimes
they have
people say
lack of
what they
knowledge?
don't understand. You said it the best way without,
Right,
without saying
right.
the typical line that everybody says, but it's
Uh,
a very true statement.
yeah,
Um, hey, man, I
so
commend you for that. Like, that's definitely cool within itself. And
right,
making a way for fathers and having avenues for them to have some type of resources to be better dads is always a great thing, right?
that's
So,
absolutely true. And
so
on every second Wednesday, they do an open virtual meeting. You know, if anybody's interested in it, chiming in, if you have something you want to know about child support, if you want to know something about custody, if you want to know something about even your relationship with the relationship with your family, daughter, son, whatever, these are the brothers you want to chime in with, because
absolutely.
uh, so many of them have so many things across the spectrum. It's ridiculous. You're going to find the answer there. At least you're going to walk away from that call being more knowledgeable and more calmer, to be able to deal with your situation better.
Right, right. You definitely need those resources available, and that's good that you guys have had these programs for such a lengthy time, that they have the consistency to know that there's that outreach for them in the community, especially where, like we said, fathers are not present in the family. And we've seen that for a
Well,
long time.
nowadays, unbelievably, nowadays it done turned into fathers and mothers. The percentage rate is really catching up with each other like
Yeah,
crazy
fathers
right
are
now.
stepping up in a big way in today's time, especially in today's time. There is this stigma, especially in black men. There's been a stigma for a long time, and we can
All
be
the time,
honest
yeah.
about it.
Yep, yep,
Us black
yep.
men, we wasn't there being a support for our families and doing what we needed to do. But now that's starting to reverse, and we're starting to see that there's a lot of fathers stepping up to the plate and doing what they need to do to help raise their children. Um,
To turn
I
around
think
and say,
that has to do with the fact that a lot of us young men, because I'm a product of it, right? My dad died over overdose and he wasn't in my life. But because of
Mm.
that, it made me want to be a more active parent in my son's life. So, I understand uh, the root of that, and the cause of that. One thing that I can say is that because of this change, it's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. The way I like to say it, it's light at the end of the tunnel because there's hope for the next generation. Um, so tell me a bit about your life growing up in the city. Tell me about that. Tell the people about that so we can get a better understanding of what your growing up was, and you could break down some things of how you
I
even
had
really
I had the
started to
Napoleon
find this
syndrome.
this this road that you chose.
I had the Napoleon syndrome.
Oh yeah. You said you had the Napoleon syndrome?
Growing up in the city, being a little guy, everybody
Yeah.
used to want to try to take in, and caught the worst in. So,
Hold on one
uh,
second.
yeah, I grew up I grew up in a cool community. Moms and pops was in my life. I got to see a lot of family. In my, me growing up. to what I see now is totally different from what I grew up into. Even though my family is a dysfunctional, we still
That's honesty.
have
That's honesty. We keep it honest on the pot, folks.
we still have love for each other at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's something that all of our ancestors, the predecessors that put us on this mission that we're on, made sure we understood. You know, if we don't care how you feel, family calls and they're in trouble,
You better be there.
gotta be there, gotta
That's
be
right.
there. So
Yeah,
you know,
I come from a dysfunctional family as well, but we do have this distinct love for each other that if something happen or something pop off, we're all definitely there. And that's
right,
how it should be. Regardless of whatever issues you have, when you need me, I'm there. And
right.
sometimes it's not like that for some people. You know, sometimes it's not like that for some people, but you know, I think that it should change and reverse and people should start to care for family more. Okay, so growing up, let's break it down a bit more. Tell us a little bit more.
Oh, I used to like martial arts.
Was it when you was coming up? Was it a lot of racism in Boston? Because you know that was the question that was coming.
See, I was getting to that. I was getting
Right,
to
so
that.
yeah, let's break it
I
down.
did a lot of martial arts, and I hated white people. I especially when I came up, Roots came out. You know,
Right.
we already had the racial tension in the schools because we was going into the busing, what they call the busing situation, and you know, I got caught up in that. I got to see my moms beat up on some white folks and all this other good stuff. The craziness I got to see, how we had to fight for the right of something that, you know, honestly, today, if I can go back in time and tell my mother and all my people, you know, we was fighting for the wrong thing, to put our kids in the hands of the fox.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And we wanted them to teach. We wanted them to educate. We closed our schools, you know, and again, you know, I'm no longer a member of NAACP, you know, and that's because I stand by my convictions of this. You know, when I see something that we do wrong and we glorify it, who are we really?
So what was it that you saw that was wrong?
Well, I mean, let's start with even the Board of Brown versus education. That caused us to close down our schools and our institutions that taught these individuals who got it to the point of going through the Supreme Court to get the ruling that it got. It wasn't from these individuals that came from white schools. They came from black schools. And we closed our schools to have one of our little black sisters stand there with these white men who didn't want to stand there to protect her.
Right.
And put our black child in the doors of the wolf.
Into the wolf's den, basically.
Absolutely.
We handed our child over to the wolf and said, now you teach her. Now you give her the education that we should have been holding on to for our children. We should have continued to build up our bank systems. We should have continued to build up our neighborhoods. We should have continued to teach our own children. And that's what we did wrong at that time.
You know, I think that even go ahead.
Building it up, continuing.
I'm sorry.
Our education system for our own people. And now we're looking back 50 years later or whatever and saying, where did we go wrong?
You're absolutely right. And again, you know, you try to open up if you look even at our HBUs are not truly HBUs. They're ran by or controlled by a white institution.
Right.
Yes.
So okay.
And again, I'm not saying nothing. Let me clear this up because you know they be like, Supreme, you be out there, you talk too much. Let me clear this up. I'm not saying that these institutions are not good to get your educational from and you know to buy back your knowledge like you do. you know, because
Right.
that's all you're doing is you're buying back your knowledge, you know. Um, it's just that, you know, we've got to stop going for the buffoonery, going for the lies, you know.
Right.
Um, and that's really understanding the essence, and that's hard to explain because when you start going into explaining that, people think you're eccentric, or you don't think right, or something, you know, to the left. They don't want to see it like that. They don't see that there is a utopia where we can live equal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was a point in time that we did live amongst the savage animals without even the savage animals tearing us the fuck apart.
Oh, we can't curse on here.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, we don't curse here. We
Okay,
don't
yeah,
curse here.
yeah, without
Um,
the,
I will
and
take that
I
back.
gotta say this. I gotta say this even on the air. If you curse again, we will have to, you know, shut the show down.
yeah,
Uh, you should have been notified that we don't curse on the show.
Mm.
But also, my question that I have for you is, what do you think? Okay, what do you think is the reason that we don't have certain things like Shay mentioned, like the banking systems taught in our schools and things like that? Like, why do you think those things were taken out?
Was
Because at
taken.
one point they were in school. I remember a point when I
They
was in
were
school.
in
I'm 40.
school.
I'm 42.
Well,
So it was one point
again,
in life where I was going to school and we were learning banking, carpentry, home economics. You know, all of it. What is the reason behind them taking those classes out of the school systems right now?
again, I'll go back to the point when I said, and again, I'm gonna apologize for the slip up.
No, you're
Um,
fine. You're fine.
but I'm gonna go back to the point where I said they buy back your knowledge. You know, you're buying it back. Is what I'm letting you know. You have information in you. You're born with, you know, information in you. What school does or anybody does. Even here now, we're exercising our right to share information, which creates
Absolutely.
the opening of neural cells. Hell, I might, you know, we might end up this at the end of the day and come to the point of an idea that needs to be done or needs to be attacked through this
Right.
basic conversation.
right,
Um, they know this. They it's designed. School is not no longer designed to get you smarter. Hate to say that. This is why we have charter schools and we're looking for what school is better. But schools are not designed to make you better or make you educated. It
I always
incorporates
said
you
it's
into
designed to make you an employee, and that's it.
you, and this is how they find out who is the worker bee and who is the leader. In most times, the ones that show themselves as the groomed and knowing leader, they'll pull them to the side. And those are the special kids that we're teaching on a higher level. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? So they get to pluck the best and the greatest for themselves. We don't have that opportunity because it's not our school system.
right,
Yeah.
The only
right.
thing they're sharing with us is what's bad going on with our kids, with stuff that me myself, I think you guys supposed to be looking into and working with the parents to overcome it. It's hard for a parent to even go into school to visit or do a surprise visit on their child today.
Yeah, it's a whole security system they got to go through, sign in, ID reveal, and everything.
All
You
of
know.
that, 5 days in advance, I'm coming up to the school to see my child instead
And
of
Yeah.
these are rules and policies that are made without the exception of understanding what the family needs. The parents should be involved with that decision making.
Right.
The parents should, if there's going to be a policy that's affecting something that you have my kid in, I should be a part and not obeying it until I agree to it. If I
right
don't
because
agree to it, then how are y'all making this a policy that my kids or in me have to obey? So it's a long thing, but then there's a downfall of us. We've been put on the Ferris wheel. You see the
yeah,
hamster that's on
little
that
hamster
wheel and
wheel.
constantly
Yeah,
going
the
around.
hamster.
We've been put on that, which means that we have to make sure we got food for the kids. We got to make sure clothes is for the kids. We got to make sure the house is in there. We got to make sure the bills paid. Hold up,
Hustle,
the car payment. Hold up,
hustle.
when you know what I'm saying? We
All of
got
that
to get
equates to that same word. Hustle, 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 hustle.
survive. We
Survive.
got
Just to survive. Just to survive. Absolutely.
you know. So that takes away from us, and we're saying, okay, boom, they daycare and they're watching our kids, so I can go work these hours. So why can't you do the right thing for my kid and educate him and show him bullying is not a good thing?
Absolutely.
Um, yes, you got to do health and beauty training, learn how to clean yourself, make yourself decent. Not the opposite of what I see, and that's the crazy part. We're accepting nowadays. We accept the fake before we even see the real.
Right.
Yeah, real.
Right.
That's true. That is so
You
So
true.
know,
what do you feel needs to change in the NAACP?
we need brothers like you to step up and take over that organization. Yeah, yep. Young brothers like you. Honestly,
I started this show for several reasons, right? And I have friends that when we talk about it, they were under the impression that my show was just simply a hip hop show. It's about hip hop, but it's
Mhm.
also, as you can see, having you on here, you're not a hip hop artist.
Oh,
So,
this is about hip hop. I'm a part of the hip
oh yeah,
hop
this is
community.
absolutely. But what I'm saying is, as far as this show in particular is designed to create a switching of the mind,
Mhm.
right? So when we talk about these type subjects, people will have a better understanding and they'll open their eyes to things that seem new to them, and the things that you're talking about for some is new, especially for my fan base in particular, because some people aren't even into policies or things like that. But when they watch this show and they're seeing what Tig is doing, hey Tig, man, that was pretty dope that you had him on here. He was talking about what he was talking about. And that's what I want. I want to create a dialogue for people to, have these types of conversations when they sitting in their home.
Well, I
You
want to say
know,
like this:
God being
hip hop,
the
hip
say all
hop
be
has
all in
always
everything that I do
been.
first though.
Yeah, hip hop has always been the point of expression, and the point of expression sometimes getting leaks. It just fades right into the politics of
Right.
life.
Absolutely.
So that let's first get that off the Richter scale, letting everybody know. Y'all in the hip hop community, you got to get more involved with that. You got to
Yeah.
see more of
Yeah.
that. So that's very important to understand is that, when hip hop was what came about, it was talking about what we was being deprived of, the
Right.
oppressions,
And what we
you know,
saw and what we
and we
went
saw
through.
and lived.
Right.
Yeah. So
On the porch, we were on the porch talking about our oppressions, and we definitely were spitting at each other, and it became a little bit of a rap and a little bit of a rhyme. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
and as time went on, yep,
it extended out into the community, and the community started to talk about it, and it became a hum. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So it was like, ooh, oh, did you hear that? Oh, for real? And then it was like took over the community. So it's like that's our way of speaking to each other. That was our original way of speaking to each other without the man taking it from us.
Okay, so
And
I
what
want
we
to say this,
lost in
right?
the hip hop
It
community
kind of
is the each one teach one process. We lost that in the hip hop community. We lost that each one teach one process. We got
yeah,
we got to
it
get back
became
to that.
more genocide being pushed, more genocide based and less educational. And honestly, because as the generations went on, people have become ignorant to knowledge, and we know whose side they
Fact.
on. Honestly, like when I say that, when I say whose side, I mean between Yahweh and that other guy. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So let's be clear. I don't even
Yeah.
speak his name.
It's not hard
But
to
but yeah, and that's what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And as a person who actually contributed to that as well, because I'm guilty of it as well, I became a product of my environment at one point in life. And that's all I talked about. But as I got older and began to read things more and read the Bible and read books and gain more knowledge for myself, I started to understand that that's not what it's really about. You know, this is what the show was started for, because I started to feel my convictions within myself about what I was talking about to our people. You know, and for me, I felt as though the best way to help our community is to be a person that got shot in the head, survived, got a story to tell, and can tell people, yo, it's a different way to think. It's a different way to do things, and it's a better way to live out here without us pushing genocide on our own.
Absolutely.
You know? So yeah. Shannon, go ahead. It's your turn for another question.
I literally wanted to talk about something that I personally was a part of, and I know it's something that you have been a part of with the high schools and the kids, which is the AXO program.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely read that on there too. So I wanted to ask that question. She beat me to it.
I want to talk about it because the AXO program, if I could just speak the acronym, is the Academic, Cultural, Technological, Scientific Olympics. Now,
salute to you, here, brother, for that, because that's dope within itself.
And this is, he's done this with the high schoolers and everybody. So can you explain to everybody kind of what that is and how that works, and just explain that for everybody, because it's a great program.
Well,
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a little hot. I gotta turn this air up.
It started with basically me being again at the NAACP, and I noticed that each branch can have what is called an AXO program, and I kept on saying, "Well, what the heck is an AXO program?" And the Mike asked me to go ahead and do the research and pull it up, get it together, and I did, which launched off. And it deals with, it's an Olympic for kids, not sports. It has nothing to do with sports. It's got academics. It's all academics. So it's mathematics, it's technical, it's art and design, it's dance and art, expressional art. It's different categories that kids from around the various branches come together at one location to compete for gold medals.
That sounds awesome. It sounds awesome. So how was that founded? Like what was who helped you start this thing? Who helped you start it? And where is it now? Like, how is it doing right now in this moment? Like
I'm no longer with the branch, so the actual I don't know, the program actually left along with the power to lead pipeline and leadership program. Sadly to say, again, it goes down to the people who are there to do that can't do what you do. Type of syndrome. But this program was developed by a Mr. Gary, I want to say Garrison, back in 1973. He wanted to answer for children who wasn't getting recognized for academical achievements and goals that they get. And he wanted to recognize them the same way as the Olympics hold their triathlons and so forth, so on. So he put this event together. The NAACP holds it every year at their national conventions, and all the kids. It's a oh my God, it's a powerful show. If you guys ever get to see it, I got to be able to. Yes, you did. Yes,
I would love to see it. I haven't seen it, but I would love to see it.
I actually went. I actually won for the Greater Boston area.
Yes,
I actually got sent to the Nationals, and it was an amazing place to see so many beautiful brown people in one place. I went to Chicago. It was amazing. When I tell you, so many brilliant, smart people in one place.
So that is one of my proud moments. I got to bring home 2 gold medals, 2 silver medals, and 3 bronze.
Mm.
And those medals over a 3 year term.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's definitely cool. I congratulate you for one, and for two, I think it's pretty cool. And congratulations to you too as well, Shay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Um,
winners all the way
yeah,
around.
yeah. So okay,
that kind
let's
of
talk
helped
a
me. I'm
bit.
gonna tell you that was easy for me to do because I'm gonna tell you on my pay gig how I get paid because most of the stuff I do is volunteer. How my pay gig is Supreme Entertainment, and I manage artists throughout the United States. I'm blessed with that, and we're able to do manage artist development with a record label called BMG with a couple of artists in a
I'm
couple of
familiar with
states.
EMG.
So yeah, these type of things made it easy for me to create and get Axel off the ground, even though it was entertainment because these guys had to sell what they were, doing. They had to sell to these judges that, you know, what they made makes sense, or what they're doing makes sense.
Right.
So it
Well,
was easy on both ends. My business side and my entertainment side helped these kids.
All right. So we didn't cover both of those sides. Let's cover this side because what the show is about, right? The
Mhm.
show is about the struggles you've been through and how you
Mm,
overcame them on your
mm.
journey. So let's
Ooh,
talk about that a bit. Tell the
that,
people a
that's
bit
it.
about some struggles that you've been through trying to get these things done and how you overcame them.
Yes, I am a returning citizen with barrier. If everybody doesn't understand that, then I came up with that because I got tired of everybody calling individuals like myself ex-felons and so forth, so on. So I am a returning citizen with barriers, but I don't let my barriers hold me back. You know, uh,
That's right.
and through my triumphs and my successes, show you that I don't look at my barriers to hold me back or put me in a place of, saying I can't do. You're looking at someone who has not only a record with the city, but I have a record with the feds. You understand? Who led the first black organization, the strongest black organization in, that's out here today. That's over 100 and some years old.
Mm.
I ran through the ranks and became the vice president. So you can't tell me you can't do. You know what I'm saying? I have helped individuals in my circumstance absolutely obtain their law licenses to become lawyers. And one just recently became a judge in one of the towns in New Hampshire. Big shout outs to Barry McGormick. The brother, really, really deserves the position he has been given, and I hope he does it and shows us in a good light. But it's like we have to understand just because we've done or made bad choices, those bad choices don't have to live with you, or you don't have to live for those bad choices. You have just
Absolutely.
have to keep going and overcoming.
definitely,
I
definitely.
couldn't agree with you more. You don't.
That's
Um,
the
so how do
that's
you feel about this justice the reform that's going on, criminal reform right now? How do you feel about that?
Which
Do you
reform you
think this
talk?
is it helping or is it
Which
hindering or
reform?
is it pushing, helping certain people? How do you feel about it?
Which reform?
The criminal justice reform.
um, I'm glad you asked me that because I am working with different organizations working on the numerous amount of issues. The sad part is that it's a big job. It's a lot of work. Everybody, let me say, it's not simple as it may seem to you, because there are when you talk criminal justice, you're talking city, state, and federal.
Right. On
Okay.
all levels. And that within itself, the way you just said that, we already know that's a tough fight, especially when you say state and federal. State is the hardest one.
No,
People think
actually,
it's federal
believe it
that's
or
the
not, it's
hardest one, but it's
federal.
really state.
No, honestly, it's federal.
Really?
Honestly, it is federal. Everybody doesn't believe
Or
that
maybe I
because
felt
see,
that way because
sometimes
living in
federal
my state
bleeds
is
into the
just the
state and the
worst.
city. But it's a lot. It's a lot of work that you have to do when you're talking about reforming something, whether it's policy or some of the reforms that are taking effect. Yes, they are helping, but there's a lot that still needs to be done. You understand what I'm saying?
Like
And
what? Give an
it's
example. Give
not
an
just
example.
here in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm telling y'all right now, it's not just in Boston, Massachusetts. It's just your neighbor next door, Rhode Island. They
Right.
some of those laws. We won't even get into that. We'll get into that later. But go ahead.
So give us an example. Give us an example of what you think needs to change in that.
We need to learn how to treat these individuals who, make bad choices and end up on, a side of the wall like human beings coming on that wall and human beings inside that wall and spit out better citizens from that wall.
Right.
Okay, so
In other words,
all
we
right,
need better
I'll use Donald
education.
Trump for instance, right? I'll
Mhm.
use him. Do you feel as though, felons should be able to run for positions of power?
If Donald Trump
That question was definitely coming. I think you knew that already. That's why you
hey,
laughed.
hey, I have no love. I have no love or hopes for the brother because he's really making a mockery of the system itself. Okay,
Absolutely.
let's put that on the plate. But if he does win, let me say this to all you felons out here that I keep saying to y'all. Y'all are just returning citizens with barriers that got a little bigger, more and a little more fight that you have to do. Your fight just became a lot easier if your president has been charged and is doing time while serving your country. Holler at me if you have a problem with that, but
I
that is
think he's
what it
going.
is.
I think if he doesn't win, he's still going. They'll try to find some type of way to get him pardoned. But if Biden wins, I don't think he's going to get pardoned at all.
Bro, make sense of all of this stupidness. Let me say this. You have the Republican
They're
Party, you
trying
have the
hard though.
Democratic Party. You have those two parties, right? Now, in those parties, okay, in the Republican Party, I believe, if my numbers could be on or off a little bit. In the Republican Party, you have over 2,687 or better members. On the Democratic side, you have close to 3,000 plus. I can't get the rest of those, but I know the Democrats are outweighing the Republicans by over 1,000. Now,
Right.
out of all of those people, those are the only two candidates that we can select, from either party. Are you kidding me?
That's what I would say.
I felt like if it was an independent running, I would vote for him because I
That's
don't
all we
really
want.
want to vote for either one.
No other
Honestly.
Let's win. We can't pick anyone else.
I think there should be a cutoff limit to the age. I think there should be a cutoff limit on the certain age that you can't run for president anymore. For two reasons. These are my two reasons. One, this is a whole different generation. Correct. So you're kind of out of the loop of the times for the younger generation, and you have to think about the future, not what was when we're thinking about a country as a whole, right? Facts. And my second reason I say this is because you have to be a good example for the American people, And one thing that I can say about this situation is they're old. I'm gonna just be real. Like, they too old. Like, they really need to retire. Like,
we can't have ageism. We can't have ageism.
It's not ageism. It's just being real. Like, you gotta really think about it. Like, when I said that part of,
I gotta come in for my elders. I gotta come in for a say for my elders. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you can be out of the loop and out of what's really going on. No, because you have no idea what's really going on. Right. Because you're at a certain age. And that's not ageism, it's just reality. I have to endure that. My kids is in a different generation.
What are those candidates' qualifications? We have to look at that. What are their mental stabilities? We have to look at that.
And that's where I'm going with it. You get what I'm saying. You get it.
Like we should. We should
Absolutely.
be assessing better. But I'm gonna come back at us melanin folks. You know what I'm saying? How come we ain't trained or selected somebody to put up in play?
Because
Why?
every time I feel as though every time we become independent and have some independence to run, there's
Michelle?
some shape or form that they wind up tapping out. And this has
Michelle?
Oh
been
yeah, yeah,
happening for
yeah, yeah.
years. Even
Like
all
when
the way
we
if
had
we go back
Obama
to
for the 8 years, huh?
didn't Jesse Jackson run for president, right? So I
Back
think
to
as
again,
far back
again.
all the way back then, they found some shape or way or form to make our people that
No,
are trying to step up tap out.
actually, I give passes when passes are due, but when passes are not due, I cannot give. But if my brother gave them the scissors to cut, I don't see why they didn't. You understand what I'm saying? Jesse gave them the fucking the scissors,
The Zazzles.
the fazzazzles.
The
Um,
Fazzazzles. But I say
so
this. What is your biggest triumph so far in your
My
career?
biggest triumph. Oh,
Yes.
ooh. My biggest triumph is to look back on people that I, so-called helped, but really I encouraged them to help themselves, you
Mhm.
know, um, and seeing how they're doing better,
right.
and they're understanding things better, and they're continuing to, go on that trail of knowledge to give them some power to understand things better. That's
Like
my
has
biggest triumph.
right. Has there been like a special case like that you could say like, hey, I looked back over the years and I saw like there was a special family
Absolutely,
or
absolutely. I got like a few of those. One is, well, the brother has got to be like 31 now. But when I did run into this brother, he was 17. He had court issues. He was very disrespectful to his mother, who was a single parent raising him. The father was, incarcerated, who is free at this point in time now. Um, and he was really heading for a very bad path. Um, and unfortunately, he got to bear witness to a friend of his get stabbed in front of him,
Mhm.
which forced his moms to force him to come see me. And I'm like, well, you're forcing the kid. It's not gonna work that way. They gotta want to do this versus
Right.
you
You can't
forcing them.
force them. You can't force them.
But right,
Because
but
that'll
I
make them
got
rebel more. Honestly.
right,
I was one of
absolutely.
those children, so I know firsthand.
Absolutely. So me myself, I said, okay, I'm not gonna push any kid away. I don't push any of my seeds away. I gave him the opportunity to roll with me and the endeavors that I did, and today I could say this little young man is now a state police officer for the troopers of North Carolina.
Oh
That's
wow.
awesome.
That
You
is
That's
know,
awesome.
wonderful.
his father's out of jail. His father has a job working with Comcast as an executive officer.
Wow, that's great. Success
Helping
And
stories.
change lives out here. That's what's up, man.
well, it's not me changing lives; it's the
It's
people
God
making
changing
it.
lives ultimately.
You,
Absolutely.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm just I'm just a portal that everybody takes a
Yeah,
look at,
you
a
definitely
good
the
look at
vessel he
themselves to do
using.
better.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Amen to that, bro. Amen to that, brother. Um, okay, so let me ask you: if it's one thing in life is taught that life has taught you, what is that? Because this is my favorite question I ask everybody. I love to ask this question because I like people's different perspectives on life, right? So,
Hmm.
what has it taught you?
Everything ain't as real as we thought it would be. You know, the the spectrum that we're born into is not the spectrum we, you know, how do you say we really truly deserve or should have as a society as a whole, as a human being or human race. Um, it just it's even though it's taught me a lot of disappointment, there is a lot of beauty that has taught me as well. You know,
Absolutely, I agree.
so I mean, I take the good with the bad to create the energy that we can to give positive choices for everybody to elevate.
Right,
That was
right.
awesome. That's an awesome response.
Yeah.
Hey, Supreme, I want to say thank you for being on, man. This was
Man,
definitely, excuse me, a great conversation, and you're very informational and gave the people some information. And I hope that y'all took these gems and y'all can take them and run with them
mm,
and open your mind a bit, folks. Um,
absolutely.
Shay, you got one more question? We got 5 more minutes.
You can still be a hip
I
hop
do.
artist and take care of your community issues. You know what I'm saying? You only helping yourself and doing better. You know, so
Uh,
be a hip hop artist and get involved. You know, whether it's
Yeah, yeah, that's my goal. My goal. So right now, what in this set that I'm in right now, the folks that own the spot, they're gonna have me a part of the board member, one of the board members as well, to help do this thing called Build for young boys, right? And with Build, we're gonna teach young men how to have a trade, do
Mm.
some building, some construction, some programs, take them out
So,
on
so
trips, give them some
please,
guidance because
please, is this out
they
where
need
you're
that in
at,
the
right?
community. You know what I'm saying?
This is out where you're at, right?
I'm in
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina. Yes.
That's out in North Carolina. I happen to know a couple of carpenter union company, union organizations that's over that way. You know, I see if I can pull a name out the hat, hand it over to Shay, and she can get it over to you, and you make a connection with them to help you out.
Okay.
Definitely, I wanted to talk
This is my
about.
rock star right here. Anyway, I call her the rock star. We just if people would have heard us before we went on the show, we was cussing each other out on the low. But
I know.
this my rock star. Like
Hey,
she's like, "Jay, you late, man." I'm like, yo, I had to hurry up and do such and such. But
Because you already know.
in all fairness, you definitely were right.
This is the unofficial mayor of Boston.
Yeah, you said it. She's been saying this all week, Supreme. Like she's been saying it all week. Yo, he's like the mayor of Boston,
well,
and
one
I'm
day
saying
when
it
I
the
come
same way
back, I'll
she's
tell
saying
you
it.
about Rhode
Boston.
Island because I just don't work in Boston. I work in the Twin States. I work in Rhode
Yes, he
Island as
does. He
well.
does.
I'm the
Rhode Island
executive
as
director of
well.
operations for Black Lives Matter Rhode Island. So,
He does. That's what
you
I was going to
know,
talk about. Black Lives Matters. I wanted to talk a little bit about WRBB, What's Up Radio. He
I
does
do a
radio.
lot. You
He
don't have
does
enough
so
time.
much. I didn't have enough time to get out everything that he does. He does so much, you guys. He is just amazing, amazing man. Tomorrow is his birthday, everybody. I just want to give a shout out to him for just spreading love across this world and being
Absolutely.
so much.
I want to commemorate you too. Like you
You know,
definitely.
I just want to say thank you to you, to all of the people that you've already inspired, and you're inspiring so many more that reach out to you on a daily basis, to just for your wisdom and for your guidance. And I just want to tell you I love you.
I love you more.
I know this. And you know, for all of you that got all these gems tonight, please rewind, find out information in your cities, reach out in Boston here or in your cities for fathers groups, mothers groups that are available to you. Reach out in the radio here in Boston, WROB. Look at my tongue tie.
I can give you guys some numbers. Like for Finn, you can call
Yeah.
857-310-3310. That's 857-310-3310. Or Finn, the number 4 fathers at gmail.com. And again, that's Finn. You're going to use the number 4, and then you're going to say fathers at gmail.com. Email them if you have a father's issue or anything like that. You know, I would go through the rest of them, but I think that's the most important one.
Yeah, man. Hey, this was awesome. This was definitely awesome. It was great meeting you for the first time. It was great conversing with you. I think that we definitely need to bring you on again.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if you're a
to talk about
doppelganger is as cool
more
as you,
things that you got going on for the people.
The doppelganger.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of things going on to people. Just know that I got my eye on the reparations across the states, various states, especially Rhode Island and Boston. And
Well, try to get this red state I'm in to give us something.
well, hopefully, what we're hoping to do is an overall one that we could take to the federal government or you know, and it could be something that's for all the states because, in all honesty, you know, this has been studied for over 100 and something years. That's ridiculous. That's since slavery stopped.
Yeah.
So let's figure out something to that and how that is. And everybody who, if you're thinking about a check, forget about that. That's not what this is about. This is about repairing the damage that has been done to our ancestors and our future lives, moving
Mhm.
from our ancestors into our future. So
Mhm.
there's a lot that we need to really structure and talk about when we talk about the reparation. You know, there's a lot of. I'll make sure that I let Shay know about the galas that we're going to be doing
Mhm.
in Rhode Island and so forth, as well as the mental health forum that we're going to be covering with this health and wellness, where our keynote speaker is Michael Curry, who's the executive director of operations for the healthcare system of Massachusetts. You know, but there's a lot more
I
that
will
can
Well,
go
if you
on.
like you, they're more than welcome to come on the show and give the information to the people.
definitely
And
replace
y'all,
everybody.
we all can talk about it and set it up. The
Absolutely.
more people know, the more things can change. And this is what this show is about. It's about highlighting people who are trying to create change in the world. Um, this is
Definitely.
something that I'm very big on, and I'm proud to say that I had you on this show, and I'm glad that Shay brought you on. And I want to say thank you for being on, taking your time out to talk with us today, and I'm
Yes.
very appreciative. Um, there you have it, folks. It's another one in the books, and it was a good one. I hope you learned something today. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful conversation that we had today. And I want to say to you folks out there on YouTube land, like, share, subscribe. Hey, that's all we can ask for, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Music Dreams USA Radio, Hustle 215 Radio. We're on. I am your host, Tigmatic, the real Shay Rosa, and we're out.
Wow.
Supreme need you to stay on before we get off. You stay on so we can talk about some things. But to the folks out there watching, I want to say have a good night. And remember to always be positive. Nothing comes from negativity, but more negativity.
Until next
So
time,
keep
guys.
it locked in. Thank y'all for watching. Thumbs up. And we out. Peace.
Peace.